Welcome to a demo of Dash. Let's start with the sign-in page. So this allows your users to sign in. If they have a Google account, then they can just use that to sign in. If not, then they can use their email address and the password that they have chosen for their Dash account. So let's sign in using the email address and password method. So once we've signed in, we will be taken to the home page, and the home page allows users to get on very quickly with doing what they need to do. Usually that means searching and finding images and then using those. You can also browse the folder hierarchy if you'd rather browse rather than do a search, and then just scrolling down we've got the recently added assets. So these are images that have been uploaded most recently. Let's start by doing a keyword search. So as I start to type, you'll see that we get auto suggestions. These are keywords that will match assets that are in the system. So if I can just move my cursor down and choose people. So I've done a search for people. That's pulled up all the assets that Dash thinks is relevant to that keyword term. So you'll notice that the search results are shown very quickly. That's a very important aspect of Dash. We know that users do not like waiting around. So the user experience we've designed to be very quick so that people can spend as much time actually using their assets rather than searching for them. Dash is fully scalable. So if your organization has thousands of assets or if it has millions of assets, it's a perfect fit. So let's have a look at one of the assets. If we click on a thumbnail, we're taken to the asset details page. And here we see the image takes pride of place here, allowing you to have a look at the image, perhaps zoom in. You've got the zoom function down here. This can be really useful for high resolution photography. We also, on the right-hand side, have the metadata panel. So metadata is a very important aspect of digital asset management. It allows people to find information about the image. You can find out, for example, what the rights are. So this one can only be used internally. See when it expires, see when it was created, and so on. But also, the metadata allows the image to be found. So that's what gets searched when you do your keyword searches or your filtering. As I'll show you later, the metadata fields that you associate with an asset are completely configurable. So they would be changed to suit your organization. If we look up the top here, we've got some things that we can do with this asset. So common thing is obviously to download it. You can download the original file or you can download a resized or cropped version. So these sizes are pre-configured sizes that the admin user has set up, and I'll show you how to configure those later when we look at the admin section. But I could also do my own custom download. So I'm going to crop this one, and you will notice that I can do that here. I don't need to use a graphic designer or buy Photoshop or anything. So I confirm the crop area that I want, and then I could also do a resize as well if I want. And then hit download, and then this is just being prepared, but that will then be downloaded to your local computer in the usual way, so you can open it up and use it. Some other things that we've got here, we have the ability to share the asset, so you can share an asset with an external user just by simply copying a URL. You can choose how long the share URL is valid for, or if you want to, you can email them directly from Dash. A couple of other things, we've got collections. So collections are private sets of assets that you as a user have put together for whatever purpose you want. Maybe you're collecting them together for a project, or we could add a new collection and then add my image to that. So if I just return to the browse page, you'll see if we look at collections, you see a list of collections here, and then you can click on it and just see what's in that collection. Okay, so let's go back into that image and just look at one other thing before we move on, and that is the embed function. So embed is the ability to get a URL to an image that is served up from a content delivery network. So this can be very useful if you want to optimize your page loads. If you're using a website or within your CMS, you can just simply copy and paste. Let's just choose one of the options. Copy and paste a link straight into your CMS, and this link will serve up this resized image, this size that I've chosen, super quickly. Okay, let's go back and have a quick look at something else that Dash has got. So facial recognition can be a very useful feature if you've got lots of pictures of people. So you see this person here, I've previously tagged as Isabel Costa, so you only need to do that once. The tagging, if you tag a person in one image, then it tags, if it finds the person in any other image within your account, it will tag them. And then that allows us to just click and see all the pictures of that person. Right, let's have a look at doing an upload. So with the upload process, you can either click the button to upload, or you can just drag and drop from, for example, Finder. So let's go with doing an upload. So if I just find the images that I want to upload, and then let's upload some pictures of beaches, and click open, and these are now being uploaded. So the uploads we do in parallel, so again we're trying to save users as much time as possible, so it's done as quickly as it can. And you'll notice that you can actually start tagging the assets even before the thumbnails have popped in. When you're tagging, you can select all your assets, so I've selected all of them, and then enter metadata that gets applied to all of those at once. So for example, let's imagine that we know that all of these are available for use on the website, so we can choose that. Maybe we want to put them all in a folder. Let's add a new folder actually called beach scene, and that's added, that metadata has been applied to every single asset in the selection. If you want to, you can go through each one by one. So again, we see the asset details page here. We've got the metadata on the right. We can just start typing it in and tagging it. You'll notice that we've already got some tags have appeared. That's because Dash uses auto tagging, so it will try and automatically tag the images using what it thinks it's found in it. So sometimes this is quite accurate. You can see this is fairly useful. You usually do need a human to just check the tags though, just to make sure that they are sensible. So we could go through one by one, looking at all of the images that are in the batch. And then once we're finished, we can hit done, and those are now in your Dash account. When we're looking at search results, or we're browsing like this, we've got the filter on the right hand panel, so we can choose to narrow down. For example, we could say, okay, I'm only interested in things that can be used on the website. Obviously this has got the ones that I just uploaded because I tagged them as that. Maybe I want to also filter by landscape only, and so on. These fields that are shown here are your metadata fields, and in the admin area you can decide which appear in the filter and which don't. Let's have a quick look now at what you can do in the admin section. So if I move into admin, I'm an admin user, so I see the cog, which allows me to come into this section. This is where you configure everything to suit your organization. So you can see that we start off, we've got the field, the metadata field, so the attributes. So if we're not interested in some of these, maybe they're not relevant to your organization, and we can delete them. So let's delete that one, for example. And let's add a new one. So let's imagine that we want to have a drop down with some countries of the world in it. And we put the title in, we choose from the field, the type of field that we want. So there's lots of different options here. So we want to drop down, and we save it. And then we can just put in the options. So let's put UK. Let's put Australia. Let's put US. So now what we've done is we've created a new drop down. We can pop into the filter section and decide whether or not to show it in the filters and where to show it. So let's show it. Let's say it's very important to us. We'll show it up the top there. And then if we go back to browse, and let's have a look at some of these assets. So I'm going to show you how you can do some multi-tagging. So I've selected one item, and I could select all 50 on the page if I want. So let's do that. And now we can edit them all at once. So let's edit all of these. You can see the metadata down the right here, and you can see we've now got a country drop down. So we can choose country. Let's say that these were taken in Australia, and then we hit done. So that metadata has now been applied to all of these. So if I now choose to filter, you'll see, because I decided it was important, showed it up the top, here's my country drop down. And so I can say, right, let's just please see pictures that are in Australia. and that shows 50 results, which is what we expect. Obviously there's nothing in the UK yet, so that won't show any results. Let's go back into the admin area. So some other things that you can do, you've got the users and groups section. So let's start with groups. Groups is a way of deciding who can have access to what. So you've got, if I decide to set up a group here, I've got one called external suppliers. I can say whether people in this group have got basic access or contributor access. Basic means that they can find and download assets, but they can't upload or edit. Contributor means they can find and download, and they can upload and edit. And then for the group, we decide whether they can see all folders or perhaps only the folders that we choose. So let's say that this one is an external supplier for, let's say that they're ABC Limited. So we can call the group that, and then we can tick that they're only allowed to see this one ABC Limited folder. If we close that, now when we add a user, then if they're not an admin user, so let's just add another user here, and if I hit continue, let's put a valid email address in. If we hit continue, then you now can choose which of the groups they're in. So if they are one of my external suppliers, I can select that group, and that will give them the rights that that group's got. And then they will receive an email invitation. They can come and choose their password and so on. So that's how the users and groups works. The intelligence is just a way to configure the intelligent features that Dash has. So you can tell it whether or not you want auto tagging, whether you want auto tagging for videos, because it can do that as well. Likewise with facial recognition for images or videos. It can also pull out text in image, so using OCR. If you've got images that have got lots of text in, and it can automatically look up the address and the location of the image based on the longitude and latitude that's been put in by the camera. Let's look at preset sizes. So this is where you can set sizes that your users will commonly want when they are downloading images. So as an example, let's say that you've got website hero image, and the hero image has got to be exactly, I don't know, 2000 by 500, 2000 pixels wide, 500 pixels in height, and it needs to be exactly that, so I've chosen an exact crop. So if I save this now and go back and have a look at some of the images, let's take a look at this beach image here. Now if I go to download it, you'll see I've now got a new option. So website hero image, I can choose that, and because it said it's got to be exactly that, I now have to choose my crop area, and you'll notice I can't change the aspect ratio, that's fixed. So if I can just change the size and the position, not the size, but that's how which area I crop into. So if I choose that, crop and download. Now the image that will be downloaded will be exactly the right number of pixels. So for use in the hero image. So if I just open that up quickly, you can see that that's, actually it's on another screen, but that's the right size for what I chose. Let's carry on with the admin section. So let's have a look at theming. So obviously what you've been looking at, let's just go back, this is all branded for Dash at the moment, but we understand that people want to promote their own brand and they want their users to have a feel that they're using something that's branded. So you can theme your Dash. So we've got a theme that we made up, which is for a pretend brand called Cast. So let me just try and theme it for that. So I'm going to put the hex code in for the colour. So that's that sort of salmon colour. I'm going to find a logo, which is here. And I'm going to upload, just to make the homepage a bit more interesting, I'm going to upload a nice image for the homepage background, and that's there. So let's now go back to browse, go back to the home page. You can see we've now got the Cast logo up there. We've changed the colouring scheme, it's changed, and I've got a nice looking home page. Some other things, you can import assets from an S3 bucket. So we would usually help with this. This is how you can migrate very large volumes of files into Dash to get you started. You can also import metadata. So if that's being migrated from another digital asset management system or from a spreadsheet, that's a quick way to get the data in. Let's now have a look at what you can do with some batch operations. So if I do a search again for some pictures of the beach, and then I select one item, you can see that the bar has come across here, showing me all the things I can do there. Now I can select multiple items. I can shift select to select down to here. And now that I've selected all of those, we can see the things that we could do. So we could, if we're an admin user and we have the permission, we can delete. We can do an edit to change the metadata of all of those at once, and we've seen that already. I can do a download. So a download allows me to download a set of files all in one go, perhaps resized to a particular size. And I could add them all to a collection if I want to. So let's add them all to that collection there. So now that I've added them to the collection, if I go into my collection, I can see all of those assets. So let's now select one, and then you can see once you've selected one, you can select them all and show you the sharing feature. So this is how you can share multiple assets with a recipient who is not a user of Dash. So for example, someone who's in another company, perhaps a supplier or a partner. So if I select the share there, it's very similar to when you're sharing a single asset. You get a link, or you can email the link directly to the user. And then if I copy that link, then that set of assets is now available for the time that I chose. By default, that's 7 days. And I can go to send this URL to someone. They can click on it, and they'll see a page nicely branded with your company brand and logo. And they can see who shared it and a little bit of information about each asset. They can choose to download all of them at once in a zip, or just to go through and download the ones that they want. And that is the end of the demo of Dash. So, of course, if you want to really find out what Dash is like to use, then the best way to do that is through a free trial. And you're welcome to come to our website and click on the Start New Trial button, and you can get going straight away with a free trial of Dash.